Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dean Vaughn Music Podcast Show, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. We have a special guest all the way from London coming to you today. The band is called the JOKERS, and the JOKERS are from Northwest England, and they're about 8 hours ahead of us. The JOKERS formed in 2006. And with the aim of creating the world's greatest rock and roll band, their debut album, The Big Rock and Roll Show, while mixed by Mike Fraser in Vancouver, Canada, right after he mixed AC/DC's Black Ice album. And the Black Ice album, that sold over 10 million copies. So the JOKERS are riding right on the coattail of that famous album. I have the JOKERS waiting in the green room right now. I hope they're being treated good by my staff. They're serving them drinks right now. I hope they're happy and ready to come on camera and give the world a treat. How did you guys get formed as the JOKERS? How did you two meet?
We were in different bands in the area, and I went into a venue one night and seen Wayne playing guitar, and got talking to him. He was doing backing vocals in the band, and he said, "Oh, I do lead vocals." I said, "Oh, we're looking for a lead singer." Came down and went from there.
What an awesome lead singer he is. I listened to about, 8 or 9 videos. I said, how many videos have these guys done? I was trying to log them all down, and man, amazing. A little reminiscent for me of INXS, some of the early 80s rock bands, very, very commercial. Where did you guys get your style? How did that all come about?
Well, it's growing all the time from the Big Rock and Roll Show album.
Gotcha.
We wanted that to be of a certain style, and then you develop it. So it keeps on developing. So where you get your style from is just the growth as in your own musicianship, I think. Sort of wanting to deliver something a bit different with each album, growing.
Right.
So it's kind of a natural progression for style.
You also get a lot of feedback from the band, I'd presume, to build your style.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we're probably the last of the generation that were brought up on real rock and roll music, and we're fortunate. Well, I was, where my father worked in a record shop, so all the rock and roll records were around. The classics like your, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, John Mayall, Jimi Hendrix.
Were those pretty much your influences growing up, as even from
Just
child?
everything you listen to. I'm personally not. I'm into anything. Could be anything from Pavarotti through to Nile Rodgers to Aerosmith.
We just like good songs delivered with passion and power, I think. So whenever we can do that, that's what we aim to do, really. It's not trying to sort of strap on a metal sound or a rock sound. It's a good composition delivered with passion.
Yeah, and I think we live in a time, I think music can be very corporate. So I think for me, it's like saying to someone, what food do you like? Well, I like real organic food, and it's the same with music.
Right.
What's the most successful restaurant on the planet? What's the most successful restaurant on the planet?
God, I have so many of them. I don't know.
McDonald's. McDonald's. No,
Because they have that.
It's not my favorite food.
They have the yellow, arches.
Yeah,
the golden arches.
Yeah.
Of course, they cater to the families, of course, so the kids get a Big Mac, Mac. I was in Ireland, and there was a huge McDonald's down there. I was like, holy smokes, man! McDonald's is everywhere on the planet.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can understand the appeal.
I bet there's an Irish bar in Las Vegas, though.
Yes. There's about every
trading.
There's every kind of bar and restaurant in Las Vegas. I mean, we've even got New York here in Las Vegas. We got New York.
Yeah, I've been. I was there last year.
Have you guys played out here? Have you played out here in Vegas?
No, but we were offered shows, and we'd obviously love to be out there.
It's on the bucket list.
Yeah. It's definitely something we plan to do.
So tell me about 2006. It's the JOKERS were formed in 2006, and with the aim of creating the biggest rock and roll band. And so you found Paul. You found Wayne
Yeah.
singing. Tell me about how that all went about and how you guys got the other members in the band.
Well, I think we've been both in various bands, and at the time, I think from the 90s, there was a lot of, I don't know how it was in the US, but in the UK, there was a lot of indie music, which personally wasn't my taste, you know, the likes of Coldplay, Oasis, Blair, those sort of bands. I don't know how popular they were out in the US, but it was all this Britpop type of thing. And me and Wayne came from more of a rock background, a big fan of AC/DC, proper earthy, organic rock music. And that was quite difficult at the time. I mean, we were back in the day in the Rack Studios, and we were fortunate to actually hang around with Robert Plant and Page, and even them at the time were struggling because this whole indie thing was happening. They said, "Oh, we want to live again, we want to rock again." So I think naively, when I was younger, you try to do what I did, try to do what I thought the music industry wanted, and you get manipulated by managers and everything else. And it come to a point where I thought, why do I play music? Because I love music, but I'm not actually playing what I like because I'm trying to please people.
Yeah.
So me and Wayne, the whole attitude was, let's just play from the heart and let's do what makes us happy.
What makes you happy? Yeah.
And that's what really it all stems from.
That's what the entire sort of big rock and roll show is. It's kind of like a celebration of that raw excitement when you go out to a show. All the songs are sort of about going out to shows and things like that, and what it's like to sort of first experience the sort of onslaught of sound and sensation. So the whole thing is a thundering mass.
Would you consider yourselves independent as an artist, as a band?
Well, we definitely have been independent in the past. We are with a record label, and the second album was with SPV label. Well, quite a big label because they had Motorhead, Judas Priest, Scorpions. They had some massive artists, but it can be difficult when you're on a big label because sometimes, unless they're all behind you, you can be on the bottom of the pecking order.
Gotcha.
So I think everyone in this day and age, unless you're Bruno Mars or a pop act that has a massive power behind them, I suppose, we're sort of like boutique.
Now, you guys are an awesome band. Your style goes.
Thank you.
It goes in different directions. So I was hearing a little NXS. I was hearing a little bit of grunge. I was hearing like an AC/DC feel on this one song. So I was kind of going all over the place listening to you guys last night, and enjoyed every video. And your fans, they're very complimentary on your chat thread. They really like your
Thank
music.
you.
Now, 2006. Okay, so let's go back. Albums, and then videos. We could be here till tomorrow. But let's talk a little bit about your albums. The Jokers' Big Rock and Roll Show was released in, it says 2009. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And that album consists of how many songs on the album, and who's on the album? Who's playing on it? Is it the same?
Well, from what I can remember, I think there's 9 tracks on that album, from what I can remember.
Yeah.
And there's obviously me and Wayne on there. Back in the day, there was my cousin, Simon Hurst, who used to play as well. And when we actually started out with that album, we didn't have a drummer. So the first sort of thing was to try to create this album, which was mostly recorded in my living room.
Right here.
Right here, yeah.
Right here? Okay.
Made like
Right
Yeah.
Made, where the desk was and the mic.
Yeah. So it was really, a home thing, and made like a small booth where Wayne had a vocal booth.
Right.
So and it went from there to
That's
then.
what you want to call it.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Sellotape to the ceiling.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So
It's raw.
we had it mixed local, and it wasn't right. And I thought, whoa, game over. I thought, we put so much into this record, and it doesn't seem to sound right. Maybe something's not right. And then I thought, well, actually said to Lindsay Jagger, who was my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, And I said,
Nice.
who is the biggest mix engineer on the planet? It's a crazy thing to say. She said, well, let's see who's done AC/DC. Mike Fraser. Well, right, let's have a look on the website. Sounds crazy, but it's absolute truth. And I seen a cell number on there and phoned it. And the woman answered the phone and said, hello. I said, it's Mr. Paul Hurst here from the Jokers. And we need someone, a specialist, to mix our rock record. And I know Mike is the guy, you know, with the back track record, DC, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
You did the Pump album.
Pump Aerosmith album.
Perfect for you guys. Perfect.
The list goes on. So that's the guy that we need.
We even knew what he looked like from the videos.
Yeah. And he said, well, actually, I'm with Mike right now. We're traveling from Calgary, Canada, back to Vancouver Airport, back to the studio. Sorry, my phone's just buzzing. Bear with me, sir.
Callers.
Yes, sorry.
They've started already.
Yeah. So I said, yeah, we need a specialist rock guy. And she said, well, tell you what, send some MP3s over. Sent them over. And when he arrived in the Vancouver, he just thought, awesome. I said, will you mix the band? He went, yep, I'll do it.
Wow.
Fantastic. So we negotiated. 3 days later, we sent the hard drive, because back then, you send a file over via digital. Back then, we literally posted the hard drive via DHL, and it was there within 24 hours. So it got to the sorting
DHL.
office.
Do you have DHL out there?
Yeah, DHL.
I remember
So,
DHL.
Yeah, they sent a guy on a scooter to the post office, picked it up. 24 hours, they had it. I was like, whoa, incredible service. Yeah.
Oh
Send your packages by DHL.
Yeah.
We're
I
sponsored
incredible,
by
incredible service.
Hey, we all can talk about the day back when we had to mail things and wait a day for a photo. You take a picture and you had to go to the 24-hour photo mat. And nowadays everything is instantaneous.
Yeah.
Even
It's
music.
good. I like that bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're so spoiled. We want it even faster. We want it faster, and we want it cheaper. We don't want to spend all that money. We've become so spoiled as a society, I think, all around the world.
Yeah. But I said to Mike, I believe you've just done the Black Ice, AC/DC. I'm a big fan. And he said, so am I. I said, what are the AC/DC guys like? He said, fantastic. All just regular guys,
That's
Regular Australian.
So to this day, Mike doesn't know that it was recorded here. From the back room to warehouse studio. It was fantastic.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the Rock and Roll is Alive, released 2013. Now, am I skipping anywhere? If I am, back me up.
No, you're right. You're on it more than what I would be.
Okay, and I'm talking about albums, not videos yet, because you have a ton of videos. Rock and Roll is Alive. Same lineup on that album? Is it the same lineup?
Yes, apart from the drummer, because we have definitely superseded Spinal Tap, the drummers.
Amateurs.
I've been through a few drummers myself. I'm a rock band in the
What is it with those stick-wielding maniacs?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about drummers, man. I've been through 8 drummers. And
They're all nice people, but tying them down is
different brain.
Like a lion, you got to keep them in their cage.
Yeah.
So the 2000th, then you went on to do Hurricane. Hurricane was a pretty big album for you, I grant. I was looking at
it's the first time we did a proper studio, I think.
Yeah, we had beautiful studio based in Liverpool, Park Street.
Oh, nice.
Nice, with a big, I think it was an SSL, or no, actually I think it was an old Neve desk, which was fantastic. So that was a real luxury. And we had a guy called Tom Size, a guy from San Francisco, who flew over, stayed with us and helped engineer and produce the record. Yeah, he was a big engineer. Not really, he was more a specialist of engineer, worked with the likes of David E. Roth, Eat 'Em and Smile, front of house for Aerosmith, Steve Miller, Huey Lewis, and he was fantastic. Yeah. He was
rock and roll aristocracy to us.
Yes.
Lovely guy as well.
2015. 2015 is when that album, Hurricane, came out, correct? and I followed up. I watched a few videos off that album as well. Very, very good videos. In fact, I want to get into the videos here in a minute. But the latest album, really good. Rock and Roll Bones, just released November of 2022. Am I skipping anything?
No.
That recent. Paint's not dry yet.
Now, Rock and Roll Bones, where would you put that on a scale of 1 to 10 and your favorite albums to do?
Sorry, say again, Dean.
What would you rate?
How pleasant was it?
Yeah, according to all your other albums came out, was this one of your favorites, or do you like them all?
It's hard when you're close to something, because I suppose one of my analogies, it's like being a chef when you make food. You know, the hope is, you know, you serve it to the customer,
Right.
and it's all done.
Dog.
Yeah, it's on the silver tray with the knife and fork and everything else. But you're in the back; they're not seeing you skin the animal and, you know, peel the vegetable and all the rest of it. So I think I'm sure you've had the experience. You're in the engine room,
Right.
so
Right.
as much as you might like or feel the track is good, you never have that first listen, because you've gone through that whole process of trying to write the track, trying to produce and deliver and record the track. So by the time you know, it's there as a record,
Right.
you listen to it 1,000 times. You know, if you record the video, you might listen again 100 times. So it's difficult. I think Dave Gilmour said you'd never listen to Dark Side of the Moon as the, you know, public would.
Right.
The process that you go through in the development.
Well, coming from the artist side, you're going to have favorites in here and there, but you're going to go through changes throughout your career, which is cool.
I will say I do really still like the first album, though. I think that definitely has a certain quality about it, you know, freshness.
Gotcha. And getting into the latest news, let's see here. Where are we at? Alice Cooper. This was about 13 years ago. You were on the Alice Cooper radio show, is that correct?
Yeah.
What was that all about? How'd you run into Alice Cooper?
Well, the first album was completely independent. It wasn't with a label.
Okay.
And it got playlisted on a local show here, which is quite big. It's the biggest rock station in the UK, which is Planet Rock.
Okay.
And from being on that, I think somehow Alice Cooper heard the band, and then he championed the band and featured us on his show in New York.
That's awesome.
And we were very grateful. Nice one, Alice.
Does Alice
Seems
Cooper...
like a really nice guy.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I haven't met Alice, but he has a radio program out here in the United States.
Yes.
Does he have a radio program there in the UK or London?
I think he has a show on the Planet Rock station.
Does he? Okay.
Yes.
So
Or he did have, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Alice Cooper. You know, and not only is he an awesome entertainer, songwriter, but he also became a radio show host, which I admire. You know, that's kind of why I'm doing this podcast show. You know, I think us musicians, especially singers and writers and people who like to be on stage, we like entertainment of any kind. You know, and that's why I do.
Show off.
That's why I love to talk to you guys. People want to hear what you guys have to say. You know, they're watching your videos and they're talking to you via chat, but it's nothing better than seeing your face on a screen and hearing you talk about your favorite moments in rock and roll.
Thank you.
Jazz hands. Yeah.
And I got to say, who would you consider yourselves as far as who do you think you look and sound like if you had to compare yourself to anybody on the planet in the music business? Who do you think you're? Or do you think that, you know, you don't sound or look like anybody? But I'm hearing so much commerciality when I watch your video. Who do you think you sound like, or who do you think you look like?
I like to think it was a sort of like the Who, the vintage Who,
Okay.
you know, really pushing it out as sort of muscular, visceral, pounding. That's what I like to think. I don't know what it comes across as, obviously, it's sort of too busy jumping around.
Yeah, someone said once they called us Big Rock.
Big rock.
You know,
Okay. Yeah.
big rock, yeah.
I always think of Roger Daltrey swinging that microphone, and throwing
Yeah.
It's dangerous, that.
It's
Did you ever see The Who on The Simpsons?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And I think you had the guys, Daltrey swinging the mic round, and Entwistle and Townsend are covered in cuts and got all kinds of plasters on them as their mic smashes into them.
That's got to have happened.
Yeah.
When I'm a singer, I'm a lead singer myself, Wayne, and I was in a band called Danger back here and played Hollywood. And
Yeah, I remember Danger.
Yeah, it was a long time. I might have bumped into you if you were ever out here.
Yeah, I remember you guys.
So, and when I was a lead singer, I used to swing the mic. I twirled the stand. I used to love rock and Queen. Freddie Mercury. He had the half stand.
Yeah.
I used to love to grab that half stand, and do the Freddie Mercury. And then I had the Rod Stewart thing where he spun the microphone. He twirled the tripod. And then we had Roger Daltrey, with this. And so I was watching Wayne on the videos, and he really he's on like the moves like Jagger. He's got that dance move. Are you a dancer,
Yes,
Wayne? Where do you get your moves? Where do you get your moves from? Who influences you?
Well, I used to play the guitar and sing, so I mostly grew up with that. Then all of a sudden, I found I wasn't playing the guitar anymore, so I had to make some up. Can't stand staying still, so I made them up, stole a few, created a few, bounced around.
Now, do you still play guitar during live performances, Wayne?
We're putting a few acoustics in.
Okay.
We wanted it to be that kind of Who type thing,
Okay.
Frontman, guitar player, mad bass player, crazy drummer, all dead. So I think we've pretty much done that.
Well, I think it's that. I was talking to some guys from Texas, and they watched one of the Jokers videos, and he said, "You've got that old British format of lead singer like Daltrey, Robert Plant with the guitar, bass, and drums.
Right.
That sort of whatever you call it, quartet."
Yeah, you guys have an awesome look. Now, are you two the founders of the band, or who's the founder of the Jokers?
We are.
Okay, you two are the main, and then you. Okay, and have you had the same lineup?
As long as they want to stay around, they can stay around. But some people find something else to do or get wounded,
or they usually meet women in Spain,
hit by meteorites.
That's funny.
We lost 2 drummers in Spain from women.
Oh no! Damn,
yeah, they're dangerous.
Drummers screw everything up.
Called it the Spanish flu because they flew to Spain.
Yes.
You know what's funny? It's a funny story when you said that. It brought me back to Sunset Strip. I was playing at the Roxy Theater, and we were in a limousine, and we were driving down Sunset, and the drummer, we were getting all fucked up. God knows what we were drinking. The drummer crawls through the sunroof and climbs down onto the front window of the limousine while we're driving down. And the limousine driver was pissed. He pulls over. We're right in front of the comedy club down there. And he threw us out of the limo. He was so pissed. He threw us out. And we have to go on in about 20 minutes. We were playing down at the Roxy. So we actually had to hail a cab, take all our shit out of the limo, throw it into a backseat. Damn drummers. This goes back to damn drummers. They screw everything up. But I don't want to blame it all on the drummer.
Nice guys.
But give me
a bit crazy.
Right. Now, so give
me something.
So give me the wildest moment you two have had on the road, and the craziest moment that's ever happened to you in the years you've been together.
That for me, that would be when we were playing in London again. And we were just about to go on, and the drummer said, "Robert Plant just walked in."
Oh my God.
It was like, what? And it was. I thought you meant just some dude, when you say, "Oh, look, it's," I don't know, whoever. And it was him. It was just the most surreal moment. But what was more strange was a week later we had a recording session, and he walks into the studio. So we were being stalked by Robert Plant. That was quite surreal. And I was watching a tennis match. We were all watching a tennis match, ready to get off. We hadn't spoke to him because we were all there. Oh, God, it's Robert. And he walks in and starts watching the tennis match with us.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Now one just opens up a regular conversation like, who's got cigarettes? I haven't got any.
Well, yeah, we were based in this studio, and there was four different recording studios in there, and Page and Plant were using one of them. And he started hanging out with my cousin Simon, who's like a comedian, you know. So he seemed to bond with us. But as he walked into the area of the complex, our van was being fixed by the RAC guy. There's like a breakdown, so you've got all these beautiful cars around the complex,
Right.
Porsche, Aston Martin, and our bus is this piece of heap of shit.
A charity bus.
This guy trying to fix it, and it was a ex-ambulance van, so it had like a lift on the back. You imagine they put like the wheelchairs on the back of it. So Plant seeing this, he walks up with his satchel and goes, "Oh, you got a lift on the back. Throw Pagey on a Zimmer frame on the back. Throw Pagey on the back." And then he's getting the things. He goes, "Blow the fucker up. Torch the fucker."
Yeah. We had a wild time in Spain. I think one of the last gigs, the open air gig. We started playing, 11 o'clock or something? And they wouldn't let us off.
Yeah.
The mayor of the town came out and kind of threatened us if we went off. So
yeah.
Stay. And we were expecting, get back on that stage. But he offered us more money, which always works.
Oh, wow.
He wouldn't let us leave the stage, so we had to play close to 3 hours.
And then we had a hell of a trip the next day. And then that one was great gig, but we got there 2 hours after we should have. And the whole thing was very stressful.
Wow.
But it was
awesome.
A great show, yeah.
That's awesome. So off of the Rock and Roll Bones album, you did a video in 2022 called Water on Fire. So let's give it a spin and see what's going on.
I'm doing fine, well, how about you? But I've been doing time, and it's hard without you.
Man, that was an awesome
Michael.
video. That was an awesome video, guys. Water on
Thank
Fire.
you.
You recorded that in 2022, correct?
Indeed.
Was that 2022? So
Yes.
your
The video was, the song was free.
Gotcha. So
Down.
now your video production is amazing. It's world-class video production. I don't know who did it, but your videos. I go back to back when I was watching MTV, and that's how a lot of bands made it, was through video production. And your videos are first class. And so what went into that video, Water on Fire? Who produced it?
Well, we've mostly done it ourselves.
Okay.
We have two guys in Liverpool. They're not big film guys in any way. They're just local guys. They just held the camera, But with that video, we went for the old sort of very stripped down thing with the Elvis type mic. I'm using the Gretsch big semi-acoustic guitar, and we've got the big upright bass.
We wanted to look like a jazz quartet, didn't we? Charlie
Yeah.
Parker or something like that.
Yeah.
It was totally different mood from anything we've done before, so we needed to put the sort of thinking caps on in pre-production.
Gotcha.
So we did, So it was pretty well thought out, wasn't it?
Well, you never know,
Simple.
you hope that they will be effective, but sometimes you can go to so much trouble and they're not effective, and then you do something very simple and it has an appeal. And in all honesty, it was just us playing in that studio in Manchester with those stripped down equipment, and there was a little bit of footage of us walking through some back alleys in Liverpool.
Very cool. Very cool.
With like the smoke and all that type of vibe.
Well, what goes into? Do you have to hire a camera crew and a video production company to come in, or do you do a lot of that yourself?
Well, there's the guys that we know that have cameras, Red Visual, the local guys.
Okay.
They're not a big production company in any way. We didn't have that sort of budget, so it's quite lo-fi. I mean, it's an honor that you say it comes across.
Well, I think you spent,
good.
$20,000-$50,000 on a video like that. Back in the day,
Just
that's
a,
what
just a
that's what you had to
performance
spend.
video.
Yeah, but it's awesome, and the graphics. I was going to also ask, who does your graphics? Your album covers, they're amazing. I love the graphics on all your stuff.
Yeah, well, that's Brian Allen, a guy from Pennsylvania, a US guy.
Okay.
That we've had through the past 2 albums.
And it kind of fits the name of the band, the Joker. So there was a lot of cartoons out there on the Joker. So it's like you capitalized on that cartoon style graphics on your album covers. Very cool.
One of them bold and non-fussy, I guess.
Yeah.
Just like the sound. It has hopefully there's some kind of symmetry there, so it kind of projects what we're about.
Yeah, I mean, we're not here trying to be different. We just try to play honest music from the heart.
Absolutely.
And I think so many people put so much focus on trying to reinvent the wheel.
Absolutely.
And make a good wheel.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
And the other video released in 23, Rock and Roll Bones, and I have just released November 4th, 2023. You have that available on CD, vinyl, and digital, right?
Yes.
And that is
So go out and buy it.
Go out and buy it, everyone. And right after this podcast, don't worry.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Oh, there
Here we
it
go.
is.
There's the vinyl.
I love the vinyl.
Check this out, Dean.
Go ahead.
Right. The Hurricane came out on vinyl as well. The first 500, which are sold out, were these beautiful green vinyl.
Wow, beautiful. That is awesome. Yeah.
Sorry if I got that. I had it upside down there.
There you go. So people go out and get that vinyl album, Rock and Roll Bones, just recently released, November 4th. That's fresh off the press. We'll have some links after the show so you can go right to it.
Yeah, and I think it's about a 200 gram, it's a thick plastic. Yeah.
So
Quality plastic.
Quality.
you sounds like you did it right. You sounds like you did it right. So go out and get that CD. Now, you also have a video of following up, and I watched the video. Awesome job, guys. And I'm telling you, the quality of your videos is right up there with the top bands. So I'd like to play that video right now for the audience. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Go ahead, thank you.
Okay, let's give it a spin.
Tonight is gonna be a big night. Trust me, I'll be the best I can be, 'cause it's easy, so easy. Tonight I'm gonna get it all right. It's gonna be a masterpiece, honey, just wait and see. Just be better than you believe it. Since 30 below, you can't stop me. I've gotta go. When it's 30 below, you can't chill me. I've gotta roll. My rock and roll bones. 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 Never gonna eat your dust. For me, it's just my destiny. Never too much for me. You're a face from a skin of stone. 30 below, you can't stop me. I've gotta go. When it's 30 below, you can't chill me. I've gotta roll. My rock and roll bones. My rock and roll bones. Rock and roll bones. My rock and roll bones. Yeah, I'm a rocker. Feed me my elbow.
Man, guys, that video was awesome. Loved it, man. Rock and Roll Bones just released November 4th, 2023, and that album is available everywhere. On vinyl, I just saw the album. It's beautiful. And on digital, and of course on CD. So, guys, what went into that video?
That did have the kitchen sink went into that one. Yeah, so we've got the Kung Fu guys. We've got
Yeah, I saw that. Wow, looked like a movie.
Yeah, we got the Learjet involvement with that one. And the Hells Angels crew are all in there.
Brazilian dancing girls.
Yeah, the Samba Brazilian girls were in there. Fire Eaters.
That reminded me of Las Vegas. I thought they were Las Vegas girls, the Brazilian girls.
Yeah. They're very Las Vegas, yeah.
Now, the Hells Angels, are they out there? They have a chapter out there in London?
Yeah, the chapter. Yeah.
And you got them to come in on the video?
Yeah, 30 bikes came into the set, which was fantastic.
Awesome.
I don't think the video does the Hells Angels justice, because it looked great with the whole stage set, and then you had this big row of bikes either side of the stage, which looked really powerful.
The Hells
3
Angels.
minutes isn't a lot of time to throw everything that we wanted into there, so
Yeah.
everything's
Yeah.
So it's really.
I thought I was looking for a movie. It looked like a movie soundtrack because the production was so professional, and the actors in the video looked like they straight out of a movie. So that production, how long did it take to do that video?
Well, it was done in stages. We had a day on there's the Liverpool, the old Liverpool airport is now a hotel, and in the back are about 7 jet planes parked up on a runway, which are just ornamental pieces. They've got a new airport in Liverpool, so they've made that into a hotel, and a friend of mine made like a simulator in one of the planes, so we got permission to go on the runway and use the plane for the video. So that was a day, and then we had a day with the whole stage set with the Hell's Angels and the Brazilian dancers and the Kung Fu guys and the fire and all the rest of it.
Now, did
so
you
yeah,
guys?
it was probably about 3 days.
Did you guys produce? You produced that, and you and Wayne produced that whole video.
I just turned up, to be honest. He did all the work.
Wayne sat in the parking lot. Call me when you're ready. Call me when you're ready, guys. I'll be there.
Yeah. Oh, Wayne turned up in the limo with a red carpet.
Turned up in a field.
That's funny. Lead singers. We're all alike.
Oh, please.
We like to show up at the last minute. I remember getting a call at 2:00 in the morning. Hey, Dean, it's time for your vocal tracks.
What?
What? I got to do vocal tracks at 2:00 in the morning? Are you kidding me?
That's not going to be a quality product, is it? It's not going to be your best.
Yeah, I was sleeping all day. So. But, nothing against lead vocalists, we all just kind of fall into that category,
Well,
but
it's
anyway,
a temperamental thing, the human voice.
Yeah, well, you look great, Wayne. You're now. Are you? How tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
6'3". Even sitting down.
Only in America. In England, I'm 5'10".
Is that the metric system?
He looks tall because I'm so small.
Well, yeah. Even sitting next to you, Paul, he's taller than you are.
Yeah.
I can't figure that out. That's physics.
Physics.
Maybe it's curvature of the earth or something. I don't know.
So let's get back to. I watched some more videos. Silver City, 2017. Silver City, and I made a little comment. Very nice video. That was about 6 years ago. Silver City, 2017. Just a little short jab on that video. Silver City.
That was filmed. Actually, a lot of the footage was taken from when we were opening for a band, Status Quo.
Okay.
Status Quo.
I've heard of that.
It was in a big football stadium in Wales in Great Britain.
That's awesome.
We took the footage from that. What I would have preferred to have done if the guy could have took the footage of when they were on, when it was dark. But no, that was great because there was, I think, close to 20,000 people at that show.
Oh wow, that's awesome. What's the biggest audience you've played for?
Probably that one, yeah.
Okay.
As soon as you stop a song, that many people clapping is something to behold.
Oh my God.
When you're used to small clubs and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
This was every small club we played for a year in one place, clapping at the same time. It was great. It's a real trip.
What a rush.
Really good. So I'm glad we had some professional footage of it.
Now
I think if you see the Guns N' Roses video, was it Paradise City?
Oh,
and
yeah.
you see the massive audience. I think they were opening for Aerosmith at the time.
Right.
So they took the footage of when Aerosmith was on and put that audience on the Guns N' Roses video.
Who does that kind of thing?
Who does that?
So I told our video guy to do that, but he got off, he went home. It was still good. It was still good.
That is a great idea. It's still your audience, just a couple minutes earlier maybe.
It's artistic license as far as I can see.
So
They were there.
2017 was a big year for you. You had another one, Her Word Is Love. And I said, nice hook. I said, nice video, great hook. Word is love. We need to bring that song back now, where the world is missing that hook line. We need more love in the world. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And that song is so in tune with what's going on today. We need more love.
Well, I think for us,
All you need is love. Ba-ba-da-da-da.
Don't know that one.
it's all about trying to entertain and make people happy. You know, it's all about trying to raise the vibe.
So
Well,
we
it's
talked.
a play on the words her bond kind of thing, but her word is love, so to speak.
Okay.
So
Okay. Got
we
it.
played on that.
Now you talked a little bit more about the video "Run for Cover." That was about 7 years ago, off the album Hurricane. "Run for Cover." Can you tell me a little bit more about that video?
Well, it's a performance and it's live performance kind of intermingled. We did the performance bit in the same place as we did Water on Fire, didn't we? In Manchester, which is a great, massive, which is you can do anything with. So it's our favourite. So it's a lot of money, but it's worth it.
Gotcha.
The live performance bit was when we were in Wales playing in a rugby stadium supporting Status Quo. So there was lots of people there. So we wanted footage of that in there as well to show that. And the song is great anyway. So we thought,
Run for cover.
yeah, we thought we would live it up a bit.
And let's go back
Yeah.
12 years ago. You had another video, 2011, Jamie Jane.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, you're doing your research there.
2011, Jamie Jane. Well, was that early? That was about the time you guys got together, or what was going on with that?
Just after the first album.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not on any of the albums. It was just kind of thrown out there. And we went to Belfast to make that video. So it was suggested to us a good video done in Belfast. And
Who is this guy on the screen? I'm sorry, real quick. Is that anybody?
who is that?
Is that anybody you know?
I
Is that Paul?
don't know. I think his dentist would know him.
Holy shit, man! You kind of look like Robert Plant or something right there. That is a cool look on you, Paul. Man, I'm telling you.
Oh, thank you.
How old were you in that picture right there?
That was Spain, wasn't it?
Spain?
Well,
Spain.
yeah, it's probably about 8 years back now.
Oh man, that's freaking awesome.
I just put a bit of makeup on when we play live.
It was look. It's a great photograph, and there was a great photographer, but it was a tiny bar, and he got some of the best looking photographs out of that session. But the background was not good. You want that kind of thing with big lights and.
Oh, I see it. I see a guy back there. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've never noticed before. I just remember the night.
Well, that would be a quality photograph back that long ago, because we just blurring backgrounds and things like that. That's like latest technology right there.
Yeah, you could always Photoshop.
Oh yeah.
Background.
Yeah, I guess you could.
Find the photographer and get him to do them again. Where were we?
And that was after Jamie Jane. You had Hell to L.A. What's that song about? In 2010.
That's a great song, and we've kind of re-polished that one up, ready to go out with us, because it's just one of those timeless songs. It's a lost love song.
Okay.
Someone who's running away. I don't care where you're going. I'm going to follow you, kind of thing. Hell to
Okay.
LA. I just thought had a nice ring to it.
Hell to L.A.
Kind
No.
of heaven to hell kind of thing, or hell to
Gotcha. Okay, and that was like 13 years ago. I made a note reminiscent of In Excess a little bit, and I'm probably referring to Wayne.
That's probably my hair, to be honest. Shave my head off. I bet no one would say it.
Well, you have that
Shave my head off.
dance.
Shave my hair off. I beg pardon?
You kind of had that dance. You got that groove. That
Well,
80s.
he learnt everything off me. Apparently, he learnt everything off Jagger. It's kind of going round. Jagger
yeah.
learnt it off Tina Turner.
And
Tina
James
Turner.
Brown.
Tina Turner. There you go.
I think Jagger,
Who's had anything of their own?
the Stones opened or played a show with James Brown, and Jagger seen him and went, whoa, and tried to copy his moves.
Yeah, and Hutchins does the Jagger. So it goes on and on.
Well, even Adam
I
Levine,
think it's just
right?
nerves.
Yeah. Well,
Surprise is
when
dance.
you're a front man, you're a good front man, and a good frontman knows how to move like Jagger, you know.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
there seems to be sort of like you were talking about Rod Stewart earlier, the way there's signature things people do, isn't there? There's the Freddie Mercury half stand,
Absolutely.
there's the Rod Stewart twirly, and the Paul Rogers kind of does everything with the sort of mic stand and things. People catch on to them things. I guess there's a signature sort of hook line of sinkers. Sinkers.
Yeah.
And like Axl Rose, you know, when you see him up there singing, "We got eyes on the," you know, whatever. He's doing this little move like this.
Yeah, he's got something going on.
Yeah, he's got a swagger.
He's got a swagger. A swagger.
Yeah, it kind of goes against his
What's
kind
his
of
swagger?
swagger.
I do that. Now
Pirate talk.
I went to Australia for a while, and they said I had an accent. And I go, I don't have an accent. I'm from the United States. And they spotted me right away. You're from America. Do you think you have an accent? I don't know.
Well, we're actually from Liverpool,
Liverpool,
northwest UK.
Gotcha.
So there's lots of different accents in Great Britain. And I
bet.
suppose the obvious ones that you will probably know is the Rolling Stones are London, so they have like a Cockney sort of accent.
Right.
And then you've got the Brummie accent, which is Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay.
And Robert Plant, that's a sort of Brummie accent.
Okay.
You have the Irish. I think it'd be
Irish.
two.
The Irish.
Irish or Thin Lizzy.
Oh yeah.
Very obvious accent. And obviously the Beatles, Liverpool. So that's
Paul McCartney.
where we're
Yes.
from.
Yes. Liverpool. Tell me a little bit more about Liverpool.
It's a really friendly city. We have the river that runs through, which I like. I don't personally like being in the likes of maybe certain places where you feel very claustrophobic and closed. I like to see the river that goes out through to Ireland, and then if you keep going, you hit New York. So I always think there's an escape route.
Awesome.
And then I like the fresh air off the sea. But yeah, it's a very friendly city, warm people. A lot of history with the docks and ship merchants.
And that's pretty reminiscent of the UK in general, London, England. Even when I was in Australia, everybody is super, super friendly. And I don't know if that's because I came out of the US and where everybody's rude out here. You know, everybody's, they want everything now and they want it fast and get out of my way. And I'm in a hurry. And I was in Australia and this guy grabbed my bags. I was going to the train in Australia. He goes, "Come on, mate, let's go up to the mat." He grabs my bags and he runs up 3 flights of stairs. And I tried to keep up with him. And we get to the top and I go, "Well, you didn't have to do that." He goes, "No problem, mate. I'm out of here. I'm late for my train myself." And he runs off and I go, that's the kind of people you run into. And that's why I always tell people, travel. Get the hell out of the United States and go visit the world a little bit and see how other people are, you know. And I don't know. I find people very friendly in the UK, you know, or in Australia.
Scotland's nice.
Northern Britain are very
They have
friendly.
their own characters, aren't they? Scottish people seem to be passionate. You know, if they like something, they're passionate.
Absolutely.
To the point of, you know, defending it. And London's probably where no one meets you eye to eye, sort of thing. You know,
Right.
It's in a hurry. What are you trying to get off me? Liverpool is, like you said, is a friendly kind of small, big city with a small kind of attitude, I guess. I'm actually from Wales, up a hill.
Okay.
So all I see is sheep.
Did you say sheep? They have more sheep. You know, I was in Ireland. They take you on that little tour, and I was on one of those bus tours, you know, and they said there's more sheep than there are people in Ireland. That's what they said. I'm like,
I would imagine so.
Yeah, and we went past this area where all these sheep had paint. You know, they had paint on their butts, and the driver says, "Look over there! Look over there! Those are the slutty sheep." And I said, "What the hell? What the hell is he talking? Those are the slutty sheep over there." And I look, and we've got purple and blue and yellow and what all these funny colors. And I said, "Why is there so many colors on the sheep?" He says, well, they put a color on the male. They have blue on one male, and they'll put yellow on another male, and they'll put, you know, pink on another male, and that tells you which male got that female. you know, and they it was like psychedelic. And he called them
She's been
he called them the
around.
slutty sheep.
Uh,
I thought that was the greatest
She was
story.
tired.
And we had to write
Yeah, that's
limerick.
how they know they've been mated, isn't it? If they've got a
Right.
colour on the back,
Yeah, well,
it's
what if you got 5 colors? Which male got her? You know, they all did.
they'll all be denying it.
They don't want the alimony. They don't want to pay the alimony. And we had a limerick contest. I love the Irish people. Very direct. Of course, I spent most of my
Belfast is direct.
yes. Oh, I love yeah.
That's straight in your face.
Yeah.
My
Well, I
mother
think,
was from Belfast.
yeah. A lot of
Belfast.
Irish in Liverpool. A lot of the Irish came across. The ones that didn't get across to the US and New York on the boat
On the
ended up being,
Titanic.
oh yeah, ended up getting dropped off in Liverpool. So there's a lot of them here.
I
It's
said I
weird,
also
isn't
found
it? They
a
go where the work is. Doc, like that must have been a huge employer.
I went out to Dublin. I visited Dublin, then I went over to Shannon. They kind of did you a coastal tour down there. But I love Ireland. I went to the Guinness plant. That was fun.
I was in Dublin.
But
It's fantastic for a small country. It's got so much history and so much. I mean, the Irish are all over the world, aren't they?
oh yes, they are.
You
I'm
can't
part
go
Irish.
anywhere.
I'm
I'm part Irish. My mother was Irish. I've actually got an Irish passport now.
Do you really?
I'm back in the EU.
Yeah.
EU, that's the one.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, so
Yeah.
are you like a dual citizen or?
I am.
Oh.
It's like a secret agent, quite frankly. I can go anywhere, be anyone.
My
as
other
long as I
half
look like me.
That's awesome. What was the best place you've ever played as far as a country, a place that you had the most fun and in your career so far?
I like Hamburg was a great show.
Hamburg.
That's a great city in Germany.
That was exciting, wasn't it?
It's just crazy, everything going on.
Mm.
Very exciting. That was great. And also, the Spanish people are great. Really warm, friendly people, and the food is great out there. And our dream is to play in the US. I've been to Las Vegas. I thought it was great.
Oh, you guys could play here right now. You could book it right now. We are, well, I'm seeing all the bands I played with in Hollywood are out here playing. In fact, Styx will be out here, I think, next week. Tommy Shaw from Styx. And I think everybody's coming out this way. They're back on tour again. I would love to have you out here. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, when I was out in Las Vegas, there was the Scorpions were due the following week.
Okay.
And I think Judas Priest were also advertised, and there was Buck Cherry playing one of the smaller venues in Las Vegas. It was great.
I love the Crazy Bitch.
And I'm trying to think, there was a small club. There's a guy from Counting Cars. There's a show on the TV here where they vamp these cars up, and I was in this small club with the guy Phil Susan. I can't remember the name of the club, and woman there said, I want to book your band, and I said, we'll play. We haven't had a chance to get out there. I'm trying to think what the name of the club was. You'll know it.
Oh my
Las
God!
Vegas.
Las Vegas is the capital of entertainment.
Definitely.
In the United States, everybody comes here to Las Vegas. It's just got every venue in every style, and rock and roll has always been king here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, no, it blew me away. I mean, I was walking through the strip in Las Vegas, and they were playing all this rock stuff, which you'd probably just think was a normal thing, but in the UK, you wouldn't get that like you get in the US. So playing Ozzy Osbourne, Bark of the Moon, general public sort of thing, which was great. Yeah.
Well, you know, we have Fremont Street down here. It's a wide open. Everybody, they close off the street. The first Friday of every month, they have this big market going on down there. And they have shows down there all the time. I'd love to see you guys on the big stage at Fremont Street. Wouldn't that be awesome?
We'd love to see that as well.
Definitely.
You know,
and the weather was fantastic. The weather was great there.
What month were you? What month were you?
I was there. I think it was March, and it was for the local people. They didn't think it was warm. I seen guys walking around with big coats on, but I was literally walking around with shorts, and I was laying sunbathing. And they said, "Where are you from?" In British, he said, "You're a savage." Everyone was calling me a savage. Because I was like, oh, I mean, that was hotter than any of our summers in March.
Well, March, April, May, you start warming up. April,
Yeah.
my birthday month, it quickly gets hot out here. We go straight from, we just had snow 2 days ago. Snowed.
Whoa.
And last night was 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Whoa.
32 degrees Fahrenheit.
How do you
got-
plan your wardrobe?
Yeah, we got down to 29. So right now, today's going to get up to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And now what's going to happen, it's going to switch, and we're going to go straight to over triple digits. We'll go to 115 degrees, just like that. I mean, and the heat, once it starts warming up, from snow right into summer. We don't even have really the four seasons. We have cold, we have winter, and then we go right into summer. And it's so hot that it doesn't cool down in the evening. So that's the complaint that most people have, is it's still 100 degrees at 10 o'clock at night. So you're running your air conditioners, 24/7, and it just doesn't cool down. Once it gets revved up, like in June, July, it just doesn't cool down at all. But I like the heat myself. I have a boat out here. I go down to Lake Mead. I get out on the water. I love it. I love to sit out there and fish and just hang out and listen to the stereo and think of the next song I'm going to write. It's just really serene out there, being out on the water. Have you been out here at all in your life to Nevada?
Yeah, I was in Las Vegas last year, last March. It was great.
Okay.
I was in California, Hollywood. I was
Okay.
at the Whiskey.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great.
Were you playing at the Whiskey, or were you just visiting?
No, I was meeting a few people out there, and we were discussing about trying to get some shows, and we're still in the process to try and make that happen. So we're working on it.
Well, Hollywood's opening up again. Had kind of a lull there. You guys are ripe for the picking when it comes to Hollywood. They need some good rock and roll bands. I mean, I think they were starving for talent for a while there. And I used to play LA all the time, and then all the clubs shut down. I used to play at Gazzari's. It got boarded up. Me and Bill Gazzari were good friends. He died, and he wanted to sell the place. But so have you ever played in Hollywood at all?
We've never played there, no.
Okay. And
Well,
where
want
would you?
to.
Are you thinking about touring coming up here?
We're working on it, yeah. We're working
Okay.
on it at the moment. Yeah.
Well, you have a lot. You have a lot of songs, a lot of albums, some great videos. You could tour just about anywhere you want right now. You're an awesome rock band. I don't see why you can't just get in.
Thank you, Dean.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I love your sound.
Thank you.
I want to say reminiscent of the '80s, but it's still current. Your music is.
That's what we're hoping for. The influence there, but with
Yeah,
a modern
well,
twist.
Very
I
commercial.
suppose for me, the word rock is quite a vast spectrum of sound. It could be anything from Bryan Adams right through to Slipknot.
Right.
Me, rock is, I would associate it with sort of AC/DC and the rock and roll type of thing, which is what we are.
What's that song?
also-
You guys have a song. It reminds me of AC/DC, and I'm trying to think of the song.
Probably rock and roll band.
Was it Rock and Roll Bones?
Possibly.
Well, when I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to go back and listen. I really like your songs, and I hope the audience goes out and buys your new album, and they're going to love it. They're going to love it, man. Especially if you like that, popular rock and roll music, and coming out of the UK, man. You need to come out here. You need to tour.
I know.
Don't waste any time. Now, I have so many notes on you guys. Notes during who does your graphics? I asked that. Notes about Core radio show. I had a Timothy J from Core radio. What was he talking about?
Yeah, the Total Rock.
Total Rock Core radio show. Timothy J. You tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, we did an interview with him actually about
Yes,
2
rock
days
and roll.
ago.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Will Never Die. It was recent. This was a recent interview you did, I think.
Yeah, I done a recent interview with Tim. Well, I think he has a show out in California, and
Okay.
he also has a show in the UK, which he obviously broadcasts from California for Total Rock. And there was like a nomination, a vote for favorite band of
That's
the
what it
month.
was. You won
Yes,
a contest or
yes,
something. Okay.
yes. And he wanted to pick a California US band, couldn't find anyone, so he picked us,
That's
which we're
awesome.
very thankful for. And
Yeah.
we reminded him of the sort of rock and roll sound that he was a fan of back in the day.
And he
So
talked
that
about,
was an honor.
yeah, it sounds like it. It was it said Rock and Roll Bones pushing for shows in the UK around April, May, June, July. I think you talked to him about doing some shows coming up.
Yeah. Well, we're in the we're in the process of arranging shows out in Europe,
Okay.
and we've just signed with a new agent, so he's working on trying to get festivals. There's a couple of shows booked in at the moment. We're in Belfast and Dublin in April, and
We'll
then
say
we're
hello
just
for you.
yeah, we'll say hello for you, Dean. So
Please do. Please do.
yeah, we're just waiting for news back on tours and everything else, but we will get busy.
I have a
Dates for
feeling.
next year and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
as
we've
well,
got dates in for
I have a feeling you're going to be really busy. In fact, this podcast will be heard in over 15 countries. I've been kind of following my map on it. It's getting a lot of exposure. It's going to grow. And thank you for coming on the podcast show because you're helping me grow, and I'm going to help
Thank
you.
you. Well, I've been listening to your shows and I thought they were great.
We'll advertise it on our
And obviously,
Facebook.
we'll put it on all our social
Oh, thank you,
platforms.
thank you. It did. You know, I talked with Mick Clark, closest I come to London or the UK. I talked to a guitar player. His name was Mick Clark, and he was very reminiscent of this podcast. We talked about very similar things. Where Led Zeppelin was in the audience, Deep Purple. He played with John Entwistle, The Who, things like that. So I don't know if you caught that interview, but that was with Mick Clark. You probably could relate to that conversation we had, if you get a chance.
Yes.
Now, real quick, I like to talk about equipment and things like that. You know, I play an 01W Korg keyboard. I'm a keyboardist.
Yes.
And I play an Ovation 12-string guitar. I play an Ibanez. But I was looking at your video. It was one of them where I saw a Mesa Boogie bass amp on stage. And it was in a church.
Yes.
Walk through the door.
Yes.
Was that the video?
Yeah.
And and Paul, you were playing through like 4 stacks of Marshall stacks. 4 Marshall stacks. Playing a Gibson guitar. Is that your primary guitar? Is it Gibson, or what kind of guitar?
I'm a Les Paul guy. Yeah.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Is there anything else you play? Are you endorsed by anybody, or?
Well, I did get a bit of help with Marshall speakers. They've given me some nice speakers with greenbacks, Celestian greenback.
Okay.
A guy which I need to mention is Fred Tacone from California, Orange County. He helped me with the divided by 13 plexi type head. So it's basically like a boutique Marshall, old school, plexi classic amplifier, but they're built with all the best components, no circuit boards, all hand wired, EL34 valves, built beautiful. So thank you, Fred, for helping me. And Matchless have also helped me, another California company. They've given me a sort of EL84 30 watt, which I use for the studio a lot.
Okay. How'd you meet these guys there in California?
Well, I heard about the divided by 13.
Okay.
And I wanted to get one. Very expensive, so I thought I'll phone the guy that builds them. There's this guy in Orange County, and he said to me, "Well, you got to go through Machine Head in Leeds in the UK, and you're gonna have to wait 6 months." And as I was talking to him, he was googling the band, and he'd seen a video shake. He went, "Oh, like you guys, you got a sound. You'll have one in a week." And that's how that happened. So I said, "Thank you, sir." Yeah,
that's awesome. And then Wayne, what's your choice of microphone?
I'm using a Sennheiser 930 something with the Sennheiser in-ears as well, which are brilliant. So that's all I've got. I've got a tambourine.
The Sennheiser. Who was it? I was interviewing. Talked about Sennheiser. It was just the other. In fact, just the other day, I was talking with Mark Bowles, the former lead singer of Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah.
And Mark was talking about he likes the Sennheiser, and I can't remember the model of the Shure mic he was talking about. And of course, I have the SM58, and then I have the AKG headset when I play 12-string guitar on stage. So I love the Shure and AKG. But no, I haven't had the opportunity to play through the Sennheiser, but I know they're very, very high quality microphones. Very nice.
Yeah, I asked a sound guy who did our sound a lot, because I was using a 58 beta, and yeah, I used it for a tour, and twice the sound guys came up and said that mic doesn't suit your voice.
Oh,
I didn't know that was even a thing.
Yeah.
So I went away and I said, "What suits my voice?" to my friend Dave. And he gave me a list, but at the top of the list was the Sennheiser, and I thought, he knows me, and he knows what he's talking about, so I will take his advice.
Well,
and I went out.
That makes sense, because the 58 to me, and the 58 beta has a very wide frequency range, EQ range, and some mics will kind of contour your voice and give it a different tone, and he probably heard that in your voice and recommended that. That was a good move.
I was grateful for it, because I thought, wow, these guys do actually pay attention, and not just sitting there twiddling knobs and drinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe they are.
I respect. No, I've been in the studio a lot through my entire career, and I respect the not only the producer in the room, but the engineer. And a lot of times, an engineer will also be a producer. He'll lend his ear to the production quality, and he'll move that into the mixing console and make you sound awesome. That's a good engineer. Somebody who's
that's why I was quite shocked. But yeah, so I took his advice. I didn't know that a microphone would affect it. I thought it just would reflect what you were singing into it, but obviously not.
Yeah.
So I have a few microphones. Some places we go to seem to be set up for Shures. They've all got 58s, and I take a Shure out and put my Sennheiser in, and it sounds ghastly. So I just get the other Shure out, because I know that they've EQ'd it for that sub pattern that you were talking about. And some places a Sennheiser where the Shure sounds dreadful. So I have a little briefcase of a few. Now that I'm aware that there is a difference in these things.
Yeah.
But the Sennheiser with the in-ears they're obviously been developed together. So
awesome.
I get the maximum sort of clarity from that.
Yeah, and so the in-ears really make a difference. I personally haven't had the chance to play with the in-ears, because my last live performance was going back a long time ago, and we had the side fills and I had the front fills, and we just had fills everywhere, and it was so loud on stage. You really had to be good at mixing the monitors if you were the sound engineer. And the in-ears, I'm thinking, have kind of solved a lot of that to give everybody what they want in their ear. What do you think about that? Going from the way it used to be to now, when we have the in-ear microphones in our.
When we did the big stadium, the crew there was so professional and so brilliant. I didn't really need them, because they said, "What do you want? Is that okay there?" And the sound was perfect. But that's more of a rarity than something you can actually depend on. There, I didn't need them, because, like you said, the side fills, everything was just brilliant. It was so good. But when you're rushed on at a festival, and the monitors are feeding back, or they're not working or something, I don't want that. I don't need that in my performance gig list. So I put these in, and as long as I can hear myself, I'm a very happy bunny. I mean, sometimes I push so far in I can't hear anyone else. But
and Paul, do you wear in-ear mics?
I don't wear any ears. No.
In-ears.
Stands in front of his
No,
speakers.
but I think for a singer, it's very important. The lead singer can't hear themselves, then they're going to overcompensate.
For an audience, it's very
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
they can hear themselves, because you're screaming, singing out of tune. You're not doing anyone any favors, really. So
Right.
I do it for the audience.
Yeah, you see the singers, they'd be going like this. They get their, they're trying to hit the note.
Yeah, that works. Unfortunately, it
And
looks
I found myself doing that a few times. When I couldn't hear myself, I had two options. Find a way to hear my tone, or oversing. And
Over-singing is the pits, isn't it?
It's
Especially if you're in the middle of a tour or something.
Oh,
You've
my
got to do it
God,
again
yeah.
tomorrow night.
Yeah, you're straining your
Longevity.
voice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's absolutely the worst.
And I don't know if everyone understands, a lead singer or a person who sings a lot during the shows has to protect his voice or her voice during the show. And
They have to pace themselves, don't they? If you've got a long run ahead of you, you're burning out on the first, second, third night. There's nothing worse for anybody. Singer, the band, the audience, everybody suffers. Got to do it. You've got to take one for the team.
Yeah, exactly. Axl Rose had to cancel. You hear about these shows being canceled. They say they got sick, or they don't feel well, or they're hungover. But I remember Axl used to cancel a lot of shows. He had like 50, 60,000 people in the arena, and he's in the limo. He said, "I'm not going on."
I can imagine if it's such a high-profile gig and he's burnt himself out the night before because he's giving it everything, because that's what he does.
Exactly.
He gets a few good shows in there, and then everyone's going, "Oh, listen to Axl's voice," and things like that. It's just flesh and skin and everything. He's not Superman. No matter what he thinks he is, he just gives his all, and
And
fortunately in style.
And nobody's superhuman. You can't take your voice and put it in a guitar case and lock it up and
can't change the strings. You've just got to protect it. You can't drink, can't shout, after shows when you're talking to people, and that's when it goes.
I used to love to drink, and I'll tell you what, I've always been professional when it came to getting on stage, because, I would get down there, I'd drink my tea and lemon and honey, and I would get in a jacuzzi and sit in the motel room down the street. And if I was playing in Hollywood, I would just rent a motel, and I wouldn't talk. I wouldn't talk the whole day, the whole morning. I'd get up late. I'd go on the stage, man. I felt like $1 million. But then there was those times where, you get partying a little bit. You get a couple drinks in you, a couple whiffs of that, and a couple whiffs, and you get on stage and you have the best night of your life, and you can't talk the next day.
Yeah.
Your voice is gone.
And you're sober.
And you're sober.
And you realize what you've done.
And you're only disappointed.
You realize what a fucker.
You're only disappointing your audience, and so I respect the discipline that you have to have as a lead vocalist, and I know that you've exercised that during your career. You had to.
Yeah, you'll have to learn the hard ways. I came back off a Spanish tour, and I just thought, I can't do this anymore, because you don't know if you're singing in the right key, you don't know if you're over singing, you don't know if you're under singing. And you're like this every gig. Your morning, you wake up and you go, I'm not going to talk now for the entire day.
Right.
And it's just a terrible way to live, in perpetual fear of what's going to happen when you go,
Right. And Paul's going.
So the in-ears have removed that.
The in-ears, I'll tell you what, if I hit the stage tomorrow, it's going to be in-ears for me. I just got out of a classic rock band. The drummer, he was very professional. He had the in-ears, and he'd say, "Give me a little of this, a little of that," and he was happy. And he even in our studio, we had glass in front of the drum set. And even in the rehearsal studio, he used his in-ears, and he could hear everything because he was singing my harmonies. I had the drummer singing all the harmonies. But I personally haven't used the in-ear monitors yet, so I'm looking.
It's a bit strange first, but I mean, if you got a lot of gig, sometimes I pop one out and just have it, just one there. Yeah.
So you can hear the ambiance.
Exactly. I haven't got used to having them both. If we had a lot of time and I could sound check everything, then that'll be the way forward, really.
That's
But
awesome. I just had to touch on some of the equipment, guys, and a lot of my fans, they are engineers and they're production companies, and they like to hear what you guys are playing out of. So I just had to ask. So let's talk a little bit about what you have planned next, and we'll start to wrap up the podcast. And let your audience know what to expect in the next maybe 3 to 6 months or a year.
Well, yeah, we're in the process of putting the shows together, European tour,
Okay.
and hope is to be in the US. That is the dream. And I was talking to Wayne about possibly getting back into the studio rather than being in a position of stress where you're trying to record 10, 12 tracks in one shot. I was thinking maybe we could do it in sections so there's not as much pressure. So
Maybe put out a single, maybe or EP.
Writing songs.
maybe, or keep the recording process in motion.
Sure.
So maybe do 2 here, 3 here, and keep that process.
That's a great idea, especially with the culture of today. Everybody will download one song. They'll hear a song
Yeah.
and they'll go download. Like back
Yeah.
in the day, you got the Beatles album. You got the whole album, but you might have had maybe 1 or 2 songs were your favorite. I kind of like that, being able to put out one song, and everybody gets that one song, and then maybe an EP with 2 or 3 or 4. I don't think the albums are so much popular like they were back in the day.
No, I suppose back in the day, the whole process, someone would wait for this new album, they would queue up at the record shop to buy the record, and the whole process would be like a beginning, middle, and end, like a movie.
Right.
It was a whole journey from the start to finish. Whereas nowadays, these the definition of a hit back in the day was record sales, whereas now it's a case of, well, did it get on an advert? Was it on a movie?
Right.
Kiss are in the new Scooby-Doo cartoon.
Now you've made it then.
Rock and Roll Bones. I got to tell you, that video, I watched that. What an awesome video. I did find most of your links. I'll place some of the links on the bottom of the podcast, and I'll point people in the right direction. Is there a place you really want to send people directly to you to purchase the album? Or what do you suggest there?
Well, great did they go on Spotify, and if you go on the jokers.com, we have the .com, so the jokers.com will link to the social media.
Okay.
And I'm sure if you even put the album in Rock and Roll Bones, there's lots of different outlets.
Right.
Of Amazon. It's Amazon in the US.
Oh, absolutely. Amazon.
Yes. EMP. Lots of distribution.
Unlimited music. I have the unlimited Amazon. I pay like $9 a month.
Yes.
And I can listen. I got that so I can listen to my songs. But you can play just about anything on Amazon, Spotify. Now, the reason I asked the question is to maximize your profits as an artist. Is there a place you would like people to buy your album from, so you benefit financially, or recoup?
Well, we're with a label, so
Okay. Gotcha.
buy it from them, and
they'll give it
suppose.
to us eventually.
Okay, so
We might get some money eventually.
okay, so whatever link they can find to buy your album, that's awesome. And any ideas when you might be coming out? Maybe coming out here to the U.S.
Whenever you'll have us.
Whenever
we'll
you
be
have.
there. We'll be here tomorrow.
I'll send you a plane
I
ticket.
hope this year sometime. I hope.
Okay,
And
so you
if
are
not, definitely next year.
okay. You're shooting for a U.S. tour.
Oh yeah, that was always been a dream.
Okay. Is there anything you want to tell your fans before we wrap up? And then I can't wait to get behind the mixing console and produce this thing and get it out for you.
Well, we're a live band, and the record's great, but it's the energy live is a different thing. Putting those tracks across in a live
Absolutely.
environment is a different experience, and we're just about having a good time, bringing bring the vibe to the people, you know, and celebration.
You guys are awesome. You're an amazing rock band. I hope everyone goes out and sees you guys play live.
Well, thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And we got Paul Hurst and Wayne Perry, right? Wayne Perry. Wayne lead vocalist, huh?
Harry, not Perry, like Joe Perry. Parry.
Parry.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm from America. I can't get anything right.
So,
And Paul, I want to thank you both for coming on the Dean Vaughn Music Podcast Show here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I can't wait.
thank you for having us.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait for you to come out here to Las Vegas and rock one of the big stages out here. I can't wait.
We'll come and see you.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you, sir.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being on the show. I really.
Thank you. It's
I'm
been
really
an
honored.
absolute pleasure.
Cheers, Dean. Have a
Thank
nice
you,
day.
sir.
Cheers, Wayne. Cheers, Paul.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, take care,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.